fine. Please don't worry about me, I'm fine. Only wanna play the fool one time. Guys, gals, and guests, honey, yes, honey, you've made it here to the ballroom tea, honey. Let's hop right into it. But before we do, quick reminder, please donate to the Cash App. Please send the host gifts. Honey, it's real out here. I'm struggling. Honey, help me, help me, help me, help your girl. Baby, yes, but let's get right into it, honey, because we have a few things to discuss. I want to give a shout out real quick. I really like this effect. And I wanted to give a shout out real quick to, I believe his name is Kevin Lonvin, who won for Tall Boys Runway. Yes, I'm loving the effects, honey. It's cute. Looks good on you, okay? What else we got going on? Ooh, child, honey, this was a moment. I don't know if y'all seen this, but this was a moment, honey. Pay for that music or not, honey. So we're gonna go ahead and baby child, honey. Ate it right on up, honey. Giving you Pepper La Beige, honey, from Paris's Burnt. Come on now. Stop playing. Give him his 10s. Honey, 10s across the board, honey. Come on for the reveal. Honey, yes, yeah. Baby, honey, did that. And did that, honey. Yeah, you better prance. You better prance. You better prance, honey. 10s across the board, honey. Yes. Shout out to Father Freddie as Mother Pepper LaBeija. This was at the Dorian Corey ball, honey. Shout out to Father Freddie. 10s across the board. Yes, ballroom history all in one. I love to see it. Shout out, honey. Yes, this is where we starting from. What's going on, Adonis, honey? That clip was everything. What's going on, Des, honey? Glorilla, Old Navy in the... Hey, Talina, what's going on, honey? Yes, honey. Since we taking a little glimpse in the past, I meant to show y'all this last week, but let's get into it.
And well, the hippest in the latest is something many are calling the new breakdancing. It's a new dance craze called Voguing, as in Vogue magazine, in which you model an attitude to music. And while just a short time ago it was something almost nobody, even in trendy Manhattan, had heard about, Voguing is now coming into vogue.
Voguing, the feeling you get, it's like you're a living mannequin, actually, because you're kind of striking their models poses, mannequin poses, all to the, to the beat of the music. You have to not just strike a pose, you have to hold a pose.
It's like almost like an emotional release. It's a dance based on attitude.
And you certainly need the right attitude to partake in this pastime of the very hip, which combines freeze-frame model poses with a bit of ballet, acrobatics, and breakdancing thrown in. Now, voguing has actually been around since the 1960s when it was invented at gay balls in Harlem. It's only in the past year that this dance craze has been spreading its stuff at clubs.
All of a sudden, boom, slam, crash, bang, everybody's like, ooh, let me get into this.
And they are getting into it at clubs like Trax, The Tunnel, and the Copacabana. Watered-down versions are showing up at other night spots all over town, and even in music videos. Taylor Dane used a version of voguing in her Tell It to My Heart video. It's also been used on the runways of Paris. And now women are starting to dance their way into the voguing craze. 20-year-old Michelle Visage is a Manhattan receptionist by day and a voguer by night.
It was really weird to me at first, and then I really got into it. I said, well, it's really neat. You know, it's a way to show your emotion. I can show everything that I ever wanted to do, ever wanted to be. I can carry on poses that you can never do just standing there because people would look at you. And so you can just put it into dancing now.
And for hardcore voguers, this isn't just a dance, but a way of life. They have their own social units called houses and their own language, with expressions like Banji Boy, which refers to a form of voguing clothing that boasts a street look. And while voguing is definitely not for everyone and may never step out into the real mainstream, it has caught the eye of New York filmmakers like David Bronstein, who co-produced this mini-documentary called Voguing, The Message. In addition to your documentary, I understand there may be a film made on voguing. Why all this attention?
Well, it's a real gender bender. You have men voguing as women, men voguing as men, imitating women. It cuts across all levels of sexuality, gender.
How big do you think voguing could be?
Double break dancing, double electric boogaloo, double it all.
And while I don't expect you'll see voguing in the neighborhood disco in Cleveland anytime soon,
Honey, they make sure that they got the Caucasian representation. Honey, did y'all see Michelle Visage? Honey, I told y'all one time before that Michelle is the one with the ballroom experience. RuPaul is the one with the white people connections. Yeah. Child, honey. Speaking of connections, not too long ago, we had talked about how Simone Tishi was deemed legendary Simone Tishi, how she had got chopped in Atlanta. Y'all remember we had discussed that, and we had also did a response. We had also covered Simone's response when she was like, honey, I don't care about no ballroom chop. Child, well, apparently she don't, honey. Apparently Simone is on the screen with A-listers. She was on the latest episode of The Equalizer. Y'all check her out, honey. She said, I might be chopped in ballroom, but I ain't chopped in real life, honey.
Wow. The legend. The bathroom.
Simone said what? Simone said she is with a legend. Legend. Undeniable legends. Honey, okay? Honey, I would even say iconic. Okay. Yes. Shout out to Simone Tishi out here doing her thing. Honey, I don't know if y'all know, but Simone is also in JT's latest video, Okay. Yeah, honey, y'all know the song where she talking about the missing teeth and the crab legs? Honey, where she coming for people's veneers? Baby, get into Simone being seen, honey. Get into the footage, honey. Let's get back to Simone's part. Yeah. She comes in for a brief few seconds, honey. She's in and out of the clip. You gotta get into the tea, honey. Simone said that she is doing things, honey. Oh, Adonis said, look at Michelle Visage before the surge, honey. What's up, EJ? Yes, I love Simone too. Adonis, not you coming for Michelle's Carter, honey. You didn't see it for Michelle's wash face. Honey, if Michelle got work, she must didn't see it for her own wash face either. But let's hop straight into the Femme Queens, because we got a few Femme Queens to talk about, as y'all probably seen in the title, honey. I didn't know that Leyna Bloom was in the movie. I didn't know that she had an acting role, honey. I'm going to have to get into this movie. It's called Port Authority. If any of y'all want to check it out, honey, let's get into the trailer. Honey, let's get into the trail mix.
Okay, so what's your name?
Paul.
I'm Y. I get rehearsal every Friday and Wednesday here. You want to see me just like pull up?
I have this anger thing. Gets me in trouble. Yo, get off! I can take care of myself.
Yeah, I saw that.
Does anybody know you're here? Aren't you on probation?
Are you lost?
What?
Who you here with?
No shade. I seen you with my friend Y. If you have a thing for the girls, that's fine. Just do your thing with someone else.
What is he doing here?
That's my friend.
So, those aren't your real brothers?
Not in the most traditional way.
Can anyone do it?
Nah, not this category. It's for the Femme Queens.
Femme Queens?
She told you, right? She told you she was trans.
This is my family. You gotta look around.
Maybe I don't want people thinking I'm something I'm not.
Tell me you didn't feel anything.
You know what can happen to a black trans girl in New York City? She definitely don't need no felony on record.
When did you know you liked me?
Who says I like you? I just think about taking back all the space that the world doesn't give me and just owning it.
Who it said was behind that film? It said Michael Scorsese was the executive producer of that film, honey. Is that the case? Honey, it might be something worth watching. Now, I will tell you, I'm not understanding how they got the first black transgender model to grace the cover of Sports Illustrated. I'm not understanding how they got the first black transgender model to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, to be falling in love with this basic podunk Huckleberry white. I'm not. Child, they just do us any old kind of way. They know good and well in real life, Leyna or no girls that look like Leyna is going for that little piece of child. He don't even look legal. My Lord, honey, they just set us up for anything, don't they? Child. I'm still going to check out the film, though. I actually heard the ladies on Femme Queen Crazy Sexy Cool discussing it. Link in the description to check out the whole interview or to check out and subscribe to Femme Queen Crazy Sexy Cool. But they had Leyna on here talking. Let's get into the tea. Honey, let's get into the tea.
And boom, the first black trans model to be on the spread of Sports Illustrated.
Asian also.
How did that feel? Let's put that in there.
Asian also, y'all don't forget that she is half Filipina, okay? All right? Don't confuse it. She ain't black like y'all.
They're Asian.
Yes. Has been villain. They make you out to be this villain. How do you feel about when people try to say these things about you?
I mean, have they sat down and they had a conversation with me?
Come on.
Have they invited me out? Have they been in a place where I was in close proximity to actually have that conversation? Did you pull me aside and say, hey,
I want to talk to you about something. You know, everything is about timing and where you're at right now. And I honestly feel like if you don't have access to someone, then you automatically assume the worst.
To be fair, honey, y'all know I didn't talk to my about Leyna on this live here, on this YouTube here. And to be fair, I don't know her. So she is right. She is absolutely right. Had to get into this interview and really get into the tea and see, maybe I'm prejudging this woman based on what other people are saying. And I was. I only know her based on what other people say. However, everybody does say that she's a bitch. You know, and where there's smoke, there's fire. But to be fair, I don't know her. I don't know her. And I need to give her grace.
No one got a chance to like get to know me in like the hustling stage of it. They see the finishing product and they automatically assume like, well, I saw when she did 2017, I was in Mexico City and I had just got off a call with an agency and they was like, oh, you're amazing, but you're just not like the look for us. And I was like, they were asking me like, what is your dream job? And I was like, Sports Illustrated, Victoria's Secret, and a beauty contract. And they was like, yeah, we don't know. Maybe like try again later. And this is what I've been hearing for like literally year after year, season after season, every 6 months come back. And I was like, I'm just gonna put a tweet up and just say, I wanna be the first trans woman to ever walk a Victoria's Secret fashion show. Mm-hmm. And that's me just saying, this is what I want to do. This is my dreams. Literally in a few hours, I went to sleep, I woke up and it went viral overnight. Millions of reshares and people from all different walks of life that also had an idea about wanting their life to look a certain way, spoke up and said, why shouldn't she not? Why can I not? And then the guy, I'm not gonna say his name, he responded and he says that we're not part of the fantasy. We're not part of the image. Not only us, but also curved models are not part of the fantasy. And literally, that was the last year they did the Victoria's Secret fashion show, was when that tweet came out. That's the power. That is the power of trans women. Not only that's the power for trans women, but that was the same year that Fenty, Savage Fenty, came out with an all-inclusive makeup line, clothes, fashion shows, a full experience of all different people from all walks of life.
Yeah, there was rumors around it.
Yeah, I mean the rumor.
Honey, baby, I keep telling y'all that we are demigods and demigoddesses. Why do y'all keep playing with God's chosen people? Baby, the ancient religions recognize us as being ethereal creatures because we both embody and manifest the divine feminine and masculine. But honey, y'all don't want to hear it from me. Karma gonna keep getting y'all ass though, honey. Shout out to Victoria's Secret. They done probably recently closed down in a mall near you.
Rumors are personally true. You know, when you are a mega like juggernaut like brand, or you are a network and you're going into the most marginalized community in the world, a subculture that is full of phenomenon, full of inspiration, full of imagination, when you are putting us under the direction of someone that is white, that does not look like you, to tell you how to be, to tell you how to spend, to tell you how to dip, to tell you how to sell face, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. You know what I mean? I auditioned for Pose as one of the lead characters. I actually auditioned for MJ's character. She did an incredible job. The first episode, I told her she did an incredible job. But when you are talking about a marginalized community, you need to make sure that we are the faces of that. Okay. Don't hire actors to do it. Dominique was from Ballroom. Right. You know, Jack was from Ballroom. You know, there was some lead characters that were from Ballroom, but the rest of the people were all...
She didn't throw shade at the cast, did she?
Actors, emulating us. I got in hair and makeup. I had my wardrobe in. I said hello to Hector. I said hello to Jose. And I got on set, and there wasn't a priority for the femme queens. There wasn't a priority for the female figures in the experience. And I felt like, I'm gonna wait until y'all get y'all shit right, and then I'm gonna come back. So I left the set. Season 3, they invited me back. They offered me a script. They offered me a character. They said that this is what the lines I was gonna be doing. This is what my agenda was for it. And I signed the contract. I got on set, and it wasn't what I agreed on. It was not what we agreed on. And again, a bunch of white people that are telling queer and Black folks to be quiet, to do this, to do that. This is how you need to look. I'm literally in like styling, and there's an under direction of a white stylist. I had a great moment on the show, but I definitely feel like Janet Mock should not have been writing stories about us. You know, Evan, the other gentleman, I don't know his name, he should not have been writing stories about us. Like, when I was on set, Janet didn't speak to anyone. She didn't talk to anybody besides the main cast. Like, we are the real ballroom people. These are the actors. We are the ones that need to be greeted with grace. We are the ones that you need to say, thank you for being here. And I just didn't feel like that. It seems very whitewashed. And I've heard same things about Legendary, how it was just like, they just...
Ooh, child, she was talking about Pose, honey. She done threw the cast under the bus, baby. She done threw Ryan Murphy under the bus. She done threw Janet Mock under the bus. And maybe this is why some people think she's a batch. I don't know. Now, y'all know the way that this mouth is set up. A lot of people don't like me because they think I'm a batch. Because I speak my truth about the things that they do publicly. Let's hear what she has to say about Legendary.
Didn't understand the power of us. They just understood that they wanted to make money off us. I don't like the fact that people can just hire someone from the scene and just say, tell us everything, and we're just gonna make a movie about it. Like, how
Without
about
equity.
Exactly. How about you put us in the scene and we'll show you? I called it agendification, because there's an agenda to come into our communities and to watch us, to learn from us, and then at some point control us. You know what I mean? And when you take people who are marginalized, who have not necessarily had access to resources or money or $20,000 cash prizes, and you say anybody can come and get it. The scene was made for the femme queens, started by femme queens, and there's not a lot of femme queens that are like wanting to come to the scene. Like for me, I've taken 10 years total from the scene because it's a butch queen scene now. We are...
Honey, don't I be telling y'all every Ballroom Tea Live that the girls may be setting up their own scene. The girls is tired. The girls is tired of the butch queens being in control of the scene, honey, and the girls is tired of what the butch queens are doing with the scene, honey. Y'all have to keep in mind, butch queens are still cisgender men.
Are the dolls and the doll babies, as Ms. Deborah said. You know what I mean? Like, we are the ones that the girls come to see. We are the ones that you pay $30,000 to see. And when you put butch queens in a position of power, they forget why we are all here. It started from a woman. It started from a woman's trauma. It started from a woman's pain. It started from a woman just trying to navigate taking care of her brothers, her sisters, her father, her mother, her aunties, her uncles, her man, her community. And we hold that on so much of our shoulders, and we come here and we give you wonder. I left my house originally is because I was having issues with another female figure when I should have been having issues with the father, with
She's talking about the House of Mugler. She is now currently back in the House of Mugler, but before she was back, she had left. She was in the House of Mugler. She had left, and when she came back to the scene, she rejoined the house. But she's going to break it down for you.
And we give you wonder. I left my house originally is because I was having issues with another female figure when I should have been having issues with the father, with the butch queens in the house. And you was there when we had that meeting in Atlanta, or was it Atlanta or Philadelphia? I don't know what it was, but I wanted you to be there because it was me, and it was just literally all butch queens on the stage. And I was just, every time I spoke, they shut me out. They quiet me. And I was just like, I'm not gonna be here. You know, first of all, I'm just a chapter mother. If I was the overall mother.
That's what they announced Exotic as overall mother.
Right.
Then we all found out right there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
I just really feel like I'm not gonna have.
For all who don't know, Exotic Mugler, legendary face. He might be iconic face at this point. Yeah, a man. They made a man the overall mother of the House of Mugler.
A butch queen scream and yell at me and tell me to do this and do that. Like, I tell you what I am. You don't tell me what I am. I might need your help, but you are here to help me, you know, and when you don't do it, you come off as a parasite. It means that you're stealing from me.
All the femme queens should boycott Ballroom.
Yeah, femme queens boycott Ballroom.
Where'd that come from?
it came from leadership. It came from the power of our leadership, a power of our voices, a power from when we come out, the whole room stands up and claps. Butch queens could do that, but it's nothing like when a female figure does it. It's nothing like how a femme queen does it. It's not the same as a cis woman. It's not the same as a butch queen. It's the power of us.
No, but talk about that. Continue.
I had a class about the history of ballroom because, first off, I'm the first legendary Filipino worldwide, the first one. You know what I mean? And when I went there, they didn't know essentially who I was to some degree. You know what I mean? And I just feel like if you don't know your history, you will eventually erase it. We need to really understand that this is ours. And the more that we let people into this space, it is no longer sacred. It's no longer sacred. When you don't have some level of respect for who came before you, you have things like what happened to my sister Tanae. And I love Japan. Japan has done my makeup many times. We won cash prizes together. I just really feel that like this is
Japan is Simone Tishi.
Like, this is a blueprint of a time that you can never recreate, no matter how much budget you have. And the fact that we're at a ball and she gets attacked, and the only person that you visually see that stands up there is, what's her name?
Shay.
Yeah,
But she's
Sanaya.
like, she got in between it. Oh, and Sanaya.
She's the only one that,
Bre.
why are the female figures the only one standing up for us?
She was still defending Simone.
Yeah.
She's like, I want them to stop. I don't want them to say anything more about
did
it.
say
They're
that
persecuting her
yeah.
too much. Like, she was like,
I
it's
want them to
happened. I'm
stop.
okay. Like, you know,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're
No,
right.
it's not okay. It's not okay.
Yeah.
To hold people accountable in
Yeah.
their community.
It's not.
And we spoke on the Simone and Tanae incident here, and I made it very clear that I don't feel like there's no excuse to put your hands on anybody else, especially in ballroom, unless you're defending yourself. If nobody is attacking you, if nobody is putting their hands on you, you have no reason to not keep your hands and feet to yourself. You know, flail them hands and feet on the floor, honey. Performance.
It's not okay that Janet took all the icons' like whole life and made a yeah, they took their life, they took their pain, and they made a story off of them.
Yeah, she's talking.
Like, Janet, you're not from the ballroom scene. You should not be in this space.
Did she say she been to a ball? Did she say she been to a ball?
I've never
before?
seen her at a ball before.
They
in my
always
life.
do that. I've been to a ball
You're a
before.
writer. You know, you was at Marie Claire. You did an amazing book. That's powerful. But this is a space that we had to work hard in, and you should not be telling our stories like, this is a story that you should be telling. This is a story that you should be telling. Like, we need the positions to tell our own stories. And shame on you, Ryan Murphy. I think he's amazing, but when you come into our space where it's prominently Black and brown, which is the first thing that you ever done for Black people and Black queer people, this is the first depiction of your artistry that you have catered toward our experiences. Like, you need to really hire the people from the community and not just put them behind the scenes.
So what about the people who was behind the scenes that was feeding this information to him and telling him, like, you know, are they, like, do you think there's any accountability for those people?
Absolutely. But I also understand the life and the survival aspect of a Black queer person and a trans person that is just trying to just get an opportunity. And like, if you're the first one to do it, like, what do you do? There's no rule book on that.
When you decided that you didn't want to be stealth, because you can easily, like, you have passive privilege, you could have easily, you know, just maneuvered this life when, you know, not telling anybody.
Yeah.
What made you decide to come out and say that? And looking back on that decision, are there any regrets?
Okay, yes. I am light-skinned. I'm in a position where I am passable. You know, since I am the first person in this space and I have been born this way, I have to make the most out of it. And it's a responsibility, essentially, to, if you're going to be the first to have the knowledge, to communicate it. You know, a lot of the opportunities I have gotten, you know, being the first openly trans woman to be in Vogue, to being the first trans woman to have editorial in Essence, being the first trans woman to have a beauty contract with L'Oreal Paris and Tresemme and be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, being the first and the last trans woman from the ballroom scene to go to the Met Gala. You know what I mean? I'm in really big rooms where I have to not just enjoy my moment, but I also have to teach people. You know what I mean? I have to be intelligent. I have to be able to not just be beautiful, but have the brains, the heart, and the fucking nerve.
We like talk occasionally. We pass each other like at the show.
Honey, I got the brain, the heart, and the nerve. But I don't look like Leyna Bloom. No, but it's fine. It's fine. Baby, I wouldn't trade this chocolate for her Filipino lack of melanin ever.
We like talk occasionally. We pass each other like at the shows and stuff like that. But I like that you said that. Like, we've never had the opportunity to like have this conversation face to face, because I too, if I'm being honest, had one time thought that you were just this villain, right? And I was at the show with you. Oh my God, the Blondes. And I remember like there was like these group of like these kids who were there, and they were like, Leyna, 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 and you totally ignored them. And I was like, and then I had to remember that I've done that.
Because a lot of times you don't know what happened or how a person's day was or whatever. So people tend to
not the fans wanted some of Leyna's attention, and she was like, ooh, Tabitha, it's possible that you a batch too, honey, if you ignoring people when they trying to show you love. But let's hear what's Leyna's reasoning behind it.
I've done that.
Because a lot of times you don't know what happened or how a person's day was or whatever. So people tend to bring up this conversation about like when you came back to the scene and you battled Lola.
Exactly.
And so at the end of that battle, she went to hug you and you walked off.
Yes.
What do you speak to, like, people like, oh, she's so fierce, like, why would she do that, blah, blah, blah. What was going through your head, and what do you feel about that?
Okay, so when you talk about Lola, are you talking about the old Lola or the new Lola?
Oh, so there's history.
Yeah, me and...
Yeah, because...
Okay, I just let the people know that wasn't just an isolated
first
incident.
off, Lola's absolutely incredible. She's so beautiful. When I first met her at a ball, it was in Atlanta. She came right up to me. We exchanged numbers, and we promised to chop it up, and we chopped it up. But you know, Ballroom really, really takes people on different journeys, and I just saw some things in her back in the day that I just didn't really feel like I wanted to connect with. And one thing about energy, and one thing about my faith, is my faith has a detection of unauthenticness and people that are being in dark energies, that people are being messy. And I knew that I wanted something for my life. We are top girls in the scene, in Ballroom and outside of Ballroom. So like, why not make it hot? Why do I need to give you a fake happiness and laugh? Like, you won, good job. But at the end of the day, bitch, I'll see you at the next fucking function.
So some people want to say that you're like a sore loser. Do you feel like you...
Sweetheart, I've won. I've won. I am the definition of a winner. We are in a space of competition first. You know what I mean? You are creating something that you're trying to leave on the floor. I don't need to be like here chopping it up. Like, me and her move in different spaces. So it would be different if we both were in the same spaces a lot of times. But she's come up to me many times and said hello to me, and I said hello to her. But like, I just honestly, I'm a Taurus, and like, once you done me dirty, like you like, I forgive you, but I don't forget at all. And it's a protection for me. You know, certain people, they latch onto you, and it becomes a trauma bonding experience. And I don't like trauma bonding. I'm really, really like big on energy. Like I said, I'm Asian. We stay in the books. We stay like really into the science of things. We're really about.
Huh? So it's because you Asian that you... Girl, I ain't Asian, honey, and I stay in the books, and I'm more well-spoken than you. Leyna, stick to the runways and the beaches that you used to. Girl, honey, that was a misstep, Miss Thing. Honey, send her back to media training.
I'm really, really like big on energy. Like I said, I'm Asian. We stay in the books. We stay like really into the science of things. We're really about like, I like to go to work and like to come home. It's not many people around me that can have access to me. Maybe it's not me and her season. Maybe it's not their season for us. Maybe years to come. We might do a project together. We might, join the United Nations together. I might run for president and I might need your help. You know what I mean? Like there's only certain people that we need around us, and the people that are around us that should not be there, they're leeching off of us. I was working with L'Oreal Paris for many years, and I would sit and ask them, like, you guys hired me to be a brand ambassador for your brand, but you guys are not really putting me to work. You know what I mean? Like, why not? It's just like, oh, we're just, we're not in charge. And it's just like, then you know what? This opportunity, like, is powerful being the first. But hopefully next time with the next trans woman that walks in here, you get it right. I would sit down and have conversations with Carmen Extravaganza. She just passed, last year. And that was my mother, you know what I mean? And she would sit down and tell me about the things that she went through. And she would tell me stories about Octavia, her daughter, the things that they had to go through. You know what I mean? For them to just be at that time and place to do what they can. You know what I mean? And the fact that I'm like where I'm at and I actually get to do what they wanted. Their dreams breathe through me. They breathe through me. We're in full motion together, living this, levitating in this experience. So their dreams came true. You know what I mean? It just came true in a different way. I just want us to continue having conversations with the people that came before us. You know what I mean? Like continue sitting down. And one person, that I loved, that I feel like another reason why the ballroom is in such a really crazy place right now is because MC Deborah is not with us, to like really, she's with us, but it's just like that level of power of keeping people in check.
Yes. I have never even thought about it like that.
Yeah, I mean,
she's been gone.
Since she's been gone, it's been changed.
And me being a face girl that walks, bitch, don't touch my hair.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. Because I'm in the zone. So how did you feel about that? And was your hair intentionally?
Okay, so one of my favorite movies from the 90s is Bat.
Temperance was attempting to ask Layla, was that wig a fool on purpose? Y'all remember that wig she wore when she walked against Lola, honey, and it had that little Tweety Bird alfalfa piece, honey. Child looking like one of Tyler Perry's theater mics coming out of her wig, honey.
I'm in the zone, So how did you feel about that? And was your hair intentionally?
Okay, so one of my favorite movies from the 90s is Baps. And Kim Kimball did Halle Berry's hair in Baps. And if you see her hair, she has like little bangs that are here in the front.
I thought it was
honey, Leyna know that she is fucking lying, don't she? Honey, that wasn't intentional.
For the night.
It was easy I felt like it was, she didn't want it
just also it was my first time wearing lace, and I was just a little bit kind of like, how do I work with this? And shout out to Yusuf who did the hair. It was my night, but it wasn't my night. And I'm so happy that Lola won. Let's just say that she deserved it. She looked actually incredible. When you are in a position where you're about to go and be the Olympic gold medal, don't touch me. Like, it's time for me to do what I came here to do. And I remember like watching the performance and her just reaching over, touching me. I don't care if it was Lexi or if it was Drexy. I don't give a shit. Just don't touch me. Like, I don't want, if we out in public, would you just walk up to someone you never met and just touch on them? No, you wouldn't. Black women don't like their hair touched at all. Oh. So it's just...
She black when it come to touching her hair, huh? She Filipino when it come to reading, all right? Y'all don't get it confused. Honey, baby, child, honey. She says she don't care if it's Lexi or Flexi. Leyna, you better keep it cute, honey, for Lexi pop you, girl.
Like, I don't want... If we out in public... Would you just walk up to someone you never met and just touch on them? No, you wouldn't.
I get that too. I don't want people in my personal space. I don't want people touching me. I don't even like being in crowds of people, to be honest.
Black women don't like their hair touched at all. Oh. So it's just, it took me out of my element. And you saw the South Side come out real quick. Well, first off, my dad, the best gift he ever gave me was a passport. he told me with this passport, you're going to collect pieces of puzzles that's going to make a person that is one of a kind. I'm a product of an international love affair. My dad was in the military where he met my mom in the Philippines, so I'm a byproduct also of war. And I just loved traveling. I loved seeing my home, my earth. My dad would say modeling is a form of sex work. So, my mom was a sex worker. My biological mom was a sex worker. And I did sex work. I'm very open about it. We don't often talk about it. I don't know why. But I, had many years. From 17 to 23, I was a full-blown sex worker, working as a stripper, working as an escort, all around the East Coast, working the ads and going on tour. And I went from being a sex worker to the cover of Sports Illustrated. You can't talk about Ballroom without talking about the survival of a trans woman trying to navigate herself through sex work, sex trafficking, which is what we are doing, what we end up doing, and to some degree.
For me, sex work is something that is consensual.
Yeah.
It is something that you have full control over. When someone is sex trafficking, more often than not, that is someone who is having it under duress. And
well, first of all, Tabitha is backtracking and pussy popping. If you introduce a child to X work, if you introduce a homeless child to X work, a homeless child who's been exiled from their family, you introduce them to X work, Tabitha, that is under duress. This is a human being whose mind isn't even fully developed. This is a human being who has just been snatched away from the only home and family they know, or kicked out of the only home and family they know. That's duress, baby.
People are forcing them to do that.
And let me explain. So when I first started sex trafficking, it was through one of my girlfriends that got me into it. And I found out, this is what this is. Like, this is what this is what I'm doing. So
is that sex working or trafficking? Because I think you wasn't doing it against your will.
She onto something though. I'm gonna say she's onto. I'm gonna say she's onto something, and I'm gonna be honest. It's because my friend told me about it.
Yeah,
I was told about it too.
It was kind of like they kind of told you this is all we had.
Right. Yeah,
this is all we could do.
Yeah.
So, and being a young, I was 16. I was 15. Basically turning 16
in Chicago.
And, in New York, and I was just the way of life that I got to do it. I became numb instantly.
Yeah.
Is it sex trafficking though? In a sense, it could be
sex trafficking looks like many different things.
You're kind of telling other people, but it wasn't against your will.
She recruited me to sex work, and that's what happened. That's what sex trafficking started as.
Tabitha's still trying to defend it when these girls is telling her that this happened to them when they were teenagers. When they were 15 and 16 years old, they were told that this was their only option as a job as trans women. And they were told this by trans elders who they looked up to. Baby, that's manipulation and coercion, honey. That's corrupting a minor. That's illegal. And yes, it is sex trafficking. Yes, honey. Especially when you taking them from one place to another. If you are a 20-some, 30-some, 40-some year old trans woman and you have an underage teenage trans woman with you and y'all on tour together, you helping her post ads, you did it. Yeah, honey. Yeah, y'all, you are. The tranny did it.
Recruited you to this experience, and next thing you know, you got this money coming in, and like you don't have any other options. And this becomes your life. And now you want to leave it, but you're in this position where how I'm going to provide for myself. There's different forms of sex trafficking. That is like the umbrella of it, but there's many different ways on how you can interact with it. You know what I mean?
And I think it's important for us to take accountability within a community. A lot of us go to our friends and we tell them about this way of life, and sometimes we tell them this is all we can do. I have never told no one that, but someone told me that.
Yeah.
And maybe if someone told me something different, I might have went somewhere else.
And no one told me not to do it.
Yeah, they told me. I was over
no one
there
told me not to do
telling
it.
What's your dating life like? Are you dating or what's going on?
I thought you
No. I've been single for about 2 years, so.
All right, before we get on to her dating life, honey, another point about the whole sex trafficking. Now, I told y'all before that one of the reasons that I walked away from Ballroom was because the trans women who introduced me to Ballroom were also attempting, well, they did introduce me to X work. And I was a young, impressionable trans, you know, a young baby trans. And me being somebody who has a strong will and a strong mind of my own, I was immediately turned off by these women. Now, looking back, I understand that they were only teaching me what they knew. They were only telling me what they knew. All of them were ex workers. None of them had a legitimate tax paying job for more than like a couple of months ever. They had all been ex trafficked and recruited into ex work as children. The woman who introduced me to Ballroom began ex work at 13 years old when her trans mother told her that she had to go out on the street and make some money. Trafficking. Yes, it is very common. But now that y'all hear Leyna Bloom saying it and y'all hear Asia and Temperance co-signing and Tabitha defending, I don't know. Maybe y'all will trust their story.
And I might have went somewhere else.
And no one told me not to do it.
Yeah, they told me I was over.
No one told me not to do it.
What's your dating life like? Are you dating or what's going on?
Another quick note before we get into her dating life, which is the last segment. This is why I talk about glamorizing ex work. This is why I talk about coercion. This is why I talk about influencing the youth. Like, I think because a lot of people in Ballroom are still on their own mental health journeys and on their own self-love journeys, they don't realize how much people look up to them, especially the youth. They don't realize that there's a lot of youth looking up to you as if you're Beyonce or Rihanna. Or Diddy. Okay?
And no one told me not to do it.
Yeah, they told me I was over.
No one told me not to do it.
What's your dating life like? Are you dating or what's going on?
I thought you don't you?
No. I've been single for about 2 years, so I'm pansexual. So I date all different types of people. I don't really care who you are. If you can show me something I've never seen before, and you can also teach me something that I've never seen before, I will never forget you. I don't discriminate. I just, honestly, I love humans. I think people are beautiful. I am asexual. I don't really have sex with people. I'm not mentally, psychologically, intellectually, and spiritually, sexually attracted. Like, if we don't have, if you can't mind fuck me, my body is not going to follow.
That's because, but do you say that because your past life of escorting?
Definitely to some degree.
That's deep.
Okay,
I'm saying
let's go, Asia.
No, I'm saying that because I think a lot of times, a lot of us, we don't believe we having them real conversations within ourselves. We can distract them. We think like this because we have sex all the time.
The idea of sex
and we
was
don't
always
know how to
transactional.
separate if he likes me or not, if he actually wants to be with me, because we see how men fantasize.
Yeah,
and it is a whole nother individual.
Powerful.
So. I
think that does play a part of it, right? And also, it's just like the whole associating the feelings when you're having sex and it's transactional.
Yeah,
like it took a while for me to actually start to have feelings around sex because it was survival and sex was sex. Like, I didn't care if you wanted to have sex. That didn't mean I like you because I had sex with you. And most people, it's different. Like they'll have sex like you love me. No, it was just good sex, boo.
These ladies is on here talking tonight, ain't they, honey? They on here talking today, ain't they, honey? Yeah, I see it all the time. I see it with people I know personally. I see it with people who I see professionally. And we live in this oversex society. We live in this OnlyFans, just for the fans. Everybody on Twitter busting it open. Everybody sending and sharing nudes and it's commonplace, and polyamory and group play and all this. I've said it a million times. I've said it a million times and I will repeat. Being oversexed can be a sign of a mental health issue. And if you are disconnected from sex, if you only see sex as transactional, if you only see sex as a way to make money, and that is an act that you know innately is supposed to be shared with somebody who you care about, or is best shared with somebody that you care about, you've put yourself in a position, being recruited, being trafficked as a teenager. Your whole development of your mind regarding sex has been warped and skewed. And y'all wonder why a lot of your favorite ex-workers and adult stars, why they live such miserable, dark lives once you truly get to know them and see them behind the scenes. A lot of these people are crying for help. But y'all don't want to hear me say it to y'all. Y'all don't. That's fine. That's fine. Honey, child, do with it what you will. What you say, Adonis? You know they had to make it more palatable. That's why they threw. I don't even think that, Adonis, I don't even think that little piece of white boy is something that Caucasian Americans find attractive. I don't mean no harm. No. No, it gives trick. He gives a date. She's mixed. Yes, she's mixed. Filipina and black. Yeah. What's going on, Jay? What's going on, Nazareth? As y'all heard, she did talk about Lola. I don't know. I don't know Lola personally either. I have walked against Lola before, but I don't know Lola outside of the ballroom floor. I don't know what kind of person she is behind the scenes. I know a lot of people in ballroom like her, and I know a lot of people in ballroom say that she's a sweet, nice person. But apparently, Leyna seems to have had a different experience. Blue. Yes, what's up, bro? What's going on? What's going on, my brother? What's going on, Pooh Bear? Asia was sitting. Honey. Yes, Asia's a pretty girl. I remember Asia had did a live not too long, a few years ago. Asia had did a live and she was talking about how she wanted to get the seal taken out of her face. To me, I'm getting the impression that she may have started that process based on how she looks. I think her face looks a lot more natural since I've seen her doing that live. But, you know, I remember what Lola looked like. I remember what Asia looked like. I'm sorry. I remember what Asia looked like before any of the seal or the surge. And I always thought she was a pretty girl. I always thought she was very, very passable and all of those things, honey. Jay said the film queens gotta gatekeep the F out of ballroom. Child, honey, baby. We're gonna talk about gatekeeping. Yeah, Nazareth, you see it. What's going on, Tessa? Nazareth, you said that's not trafficking? Nazareth, are you telling on yourself? Have you been recruiting children for X work? Have you been taking children on tour? Baby, you ain't gotta incriminate yourself on this live, but honey, that is trafficking, love. It's not a debate. It's an answer. That's the definition, honey. That's what Diddy is facing charges over. Yeah, honey. Yeah, and you soliciting an ex-worker could be trafficking as well. We'll cover it if y'all want to cover it. We can go over it. We can go over it. Jay says being trafficked doesn't always mean it's against one's will. Grooming is often a major part of it. You said the word that I was looking for, Jay. When people look up to you and when children look up to you and you're glamorizing X work, or you're giving them the impression that that's the only option that they have, that is literally grooming somebody for X work. But when I say it, people don't want to hear it. It's a very fine, muddy line. And that's why no matter how sex positive or overly sexed our society becomes, you're never going to see certain advertisers and brands and companies on daytime television. No, no, you're not. No, you're not. Yeah. You agree with Jay, but you ain't agree with me when I said it, Nazareth. You funny, honey. What's going on, honeysuckle, honey? Adultification as well. Adultification, honeysuckle. Now, God, that's a new word, honey. Let's look up adultification, honey. Adultification. Oh, it's a real word. Adultification is a type of racial prejudice where adults treat children of minority groups, usually black children, as being more mature than they actually are. It can also refer to when a child or youth is tried as an adult in adult court and sentenced to confinement in adult facilities. So an example of adultification is when they try a child as an adult. If you don't know, I can tell you statistically it is more common for black children to be tried as adults in this country than it is for white children. The definition of adultification also covers the fact that we tend to maturate. We tend to give black children grace. We want them to grow up fast. We want them to grow up quick. We cause them to grow up fast. We cause them to grow up quick, and they really not grown. They still children. No matter how old they look, no matter how old they act, no matter how old they dress. Those are children. Those are children. And the sooner our community, all of our communities, allow children to be children and recognize children as children, then we will have less adults dealing with severe mental health issues. Yes, there's a link. When you introduce people to certain experiences, like sex, for example, before they're truly matured enough to process it, you may forever ruin their perspective of sex. It's like the saying when a child is assaulted or touched, when a kitty diddler preys on a child, it ruins their childhood. It takes away their innocence. That's the idea. That's the idea. They're no longer able to see the world through a child lens. You may have destroyed somebody's development. And no, that's not a debate. Okay? Yes. Does Leyna know Lexi well, the hair thing? She said in the interview, she said she didn't really know Lexi like that. But honey, don't get me lying. Let's move on to our next femme queen. Well, we'll get into it. Let's move on to Shannon Balenciaga. Honey, yes. This is my first time seeing this interview with her and Oliver, T.S. Madison's son.
Let's go like the Jeff Shop this one time. Girl, the people would have went bananas.
I practiced. I really did try to practice it. I was given, I'm not about to do this. But then also, and I said this before, they didn't supply any of my footwear on that show. And I wasn't about to sit up there and damage my footwear that I paid a lot of money for to entertain them like I'm a monkey on a TV. And I only want to go even further into that, but that's exactly what I told them. Mm-hmm. And the reality that nobody wants to talk about it, I will always say this. Just 5 minutes ago, the world and everybody from the LGBT community to the straight community, all the people think Ballroom and those people are trash and they dirt and they're the lowest scum of the earth. And they're the lowest scum of that community. So they needed somebody like me to showcase to the world. They saw what I brought to the whole scene. And they needed that to bring it to the world to elevate so that the world began, okay, well, they're not all dirty. They're not all this. Mind you, they didn't pay.
Shannon said that they recruited her for HBO Max Legendary so that she could show the world that the ballroom scene was clean. Shannon, you think you the only person that could in ballroom that could be perceived as child? Let me run it.
Pay for not zero, none of that. I
What
did
you
all that.
and when you say zero, you refer to what exactly?
So all the promos, all the press, everything that you saw was Shannon. My wardrobe, my hair, my shoes, my makeup, my styling. I did my own hair, my own makeup, my own hair. Everything was me. Me. No, but that's, you had to show up. You're looking like that yourself. That was the first ball. They wanted everybody to do that. So that shows you when teachers went on and performed, they cut this out because I said something, y'all. And I knew they were going to cut this out because it would have made Jamila, they would have y'all, if y'all would have heard Jamila say this, y'all, the LGBT community would have motherfucking black and counseled her for this. She got on that show and told Simone, I think you look better as a boy than you do a girl. Yes, I said it and I...
What? For one, that's not true. Honey, when Simone was dressed as a boy on Legendary, honey, she looked like, who is this little Negro boy in drag? You know what I mean? Like, it very much gave androgynous. Simone is beautiful as a boy. Child, honey. Jamila, did you say that? Ooh, child, I was asking y'all why Jamila was ever even on the show, but ain't nobody still ain't give me no answer. They said something about she was executive producer. Of what? Of what? If I'm Ballroom Jason, then what in the hell is Jamila? She ain't the ball or the room. Let me mind my business.
Built it. I think you look better as a boy than you do a girl. But y'all notice the whole show, the whole season, y'all giving her praises. You look so good. Oh my God, I think I have a crush on you. But then the one time you get out of drags and you was a boy on the show, I think you look better as a boy than a girl. I was sitting back and watched this, y'all, and I specifically stopped. I said, y'all know y'all can't air that right. That was fucked up.
Baby, glad they didn't air that. Baby, glad they didn't air that, honey, because they would have been calling for Jamila's neck, honey. And we didn't even get no season after that.
That was fucked up. I was offended. As a cisgender woman, I was offended by that. And I said, can I ask you a question?
Hold up. I think me and Oliver made the same face when she said that.
Offended by that. And I said, can I ask you a question? I was offended by that. I said, y'all know y'all can't air that right. That was fucked up. I was offended. As a cisgender woman, I was offended by that. And I said, can I ask you a question? As a cisgender woman.
As a cisgender, those was two as a cisgender woman. Honey, did y'all see how fast Oliver had looked in that corner? Because I think Oliver is thinking the same thing that I'm thinking. Shannon, when did you become cisgender? Am I confused? Is it me? Last time I checked, Shannon was a femme queen who walked femme queen phase and was iconic for femme queen phase. I remember back when Shannon was a con walking femme queen phase. I remember her seeing her walk femme queen runway. Is she a cis woman walking femme queen categories, or are we playing stealth even though we done been on a whole LGBTQ plus ballroom TV show? Can somebody am I missing something? Why ain't Kelly just cussing her out and reading Shannon for having a botched plastic pussy that she says smell bad, smell like waste management? Child, let me mind my damn business.
Do you think it was I want to know how you felt what Jamila just said to you. And she goes, if you go listen to the podcast, y'all, she said it. She said, I think that as a transgendered woman, we can be masculine or feminine or whatever the case may be. I'm listening to her talk this stupid ass shit. Be giving, okay. And this is the reason why, that, your excuse right there is the reason why women will never see you trans women as women. Because women don't get the right to get out of drags to become a man, masculinity and all that.
There are people assigned female at birth every day who transition into men. Transitioning don't just go one way, Shannon. You should know that. You ballroom, right? I mean, whether you cisgender or not, you see masculine women and men who used to be women or men who used to be girls in ballroom. She's giving me a bump, honey. And not a good one. No.
The women don't get the right to do that. So you can't sit up there and pick the side of the fence when you want to. It's disrespectful to women. You have to be very careful.
It's disrespectful to what kind of women, Shannon? Cisgender women or transgender women? And see, Shannon, I was going to leave your tea alone, honey. I was going to let you live in your cisgender fantasy, honey. But not you talking crazy about trans women after hollering you cis. And if you is a cis woman, you a cis woman who didn't appropriated trans women walking femme queen categories. Let me mind my damn business.
If you want somebody to be your ally, you can't motherfucking play the fences when you want to. She said her spiel.
So me as a trans woman, if I want somebody to be my ally, I have to be their definition of feminine. I have to dress, look, talk, act how they want me to act at all times. Child, I know she ain't this slow.
I respect whatever you choose to want to do for yourself. I'm gonna let you do it. You can do it to the best of your ability. Amari sitting up there in drags, and you're in drags, out of drags, and he ate you the fuck alive. But if you would have looked like a girl, had some accoutrements and things, you actually would have had a chance. But you didn't. So a lot of that anger that she spilled out on everybody else was directed at herself and misdirected. Should have been directed at herself, because that's where it was coming at. They knew what to do and not to do. And they also know that Shannon don't care. The most powerful person in the room, in the world, is a person that don't care. I speak my truth. Did she say, yes, I am a cisgender woman?
Shannon says she speak her truth. And she don't care. Right before she says she's a cisgender woman. The math ain't mathing for me, honey. Can somebody please explain, honey? Have I got it wrong? Was Shannon just walking the wrong categories all these years?
Example why you can't have ballroom people on the show unless they don't have affiliations with the talent. So it's just
who she knew.
Oh, Tati is her granddaughter. My child is real good. Is chummy chum with Naomi. Prince was on Vogue Evolution with Naomi with the group. They was in a group together. That's 3. Toro worked on the first season, and they know each other, and they did things together.
Everything that she said is true, but Shannon's insinuating that the House of Mugler only won the second season of Legendary because Naomi knew 4 out of the 5 members of the group.
4. I just hate to see that Hollywood is still whitewashed. And if the cast is 99% of African Americans, why is the production company and the people that are working 98% Caucasian?
Oh, Shannon, listen.
When it comes down to styling, hair and makeup, and most importantly, the editing, y'all miss so many great parts that make your show will be the bomb. If you had Black people.
Yes!
Because you miss the nuances that you don't.
Yes! When Tiffany Haddish was there, I know a lot of stuff got cut out. Because
now, before we get on Tiffany Haddish, honey, the whole whitewashing. Now, Shannon had been on Legendary, and she said it felt very whitewashed. Leyna had been on Pose, and she said it felt very whitewashed. As black and as brown as Ballroom is, why the hell is it whitewashed in order to be on TV? It got this far, it got your attention without being whitewashed. Child, honey, crackers.
The nuances that you don't.
Yes! When Tiffany Haddish was there, I know a lot of stuff got cut out because that situation happened, and for the rest of the show, Miss Tiffany Haddish was like,
I'm over it. She was over it. I will always say Tiffany still owes the ballroom community an apology because you came into our house. You got drunk.
She was drunk?
She was drunk. You shot it on TV. She was drunk.
Oh, Shannon, you was telling all these people business.
Sweetie, you were not in the ballroom scene in the 90s doing all this. Sweetie, you was not. You was not a part of no ballroom scene. Sweetie, and I have VHS tapes going back and stuff. Bitch, you ain't never been to no fucking ball. You don't know nothing about no. Girl, stop. You're lying. This is your motherfucking story and stuff. Bitch, homeless, ballroom, don't go 2 and 2. Bitch, because bitch, you would have been living and staying on somebody's couch in somebody's mama's house. Being a part of somebody's house, and you would have been a house child. Why are y'all out here giving $20, $25 classes per person to Vogue? Your talent and your skill, your knowledge is worth more than that. Because what you're doing is you teach them for that cheap amount. They go and teach somebody else more, and they go get the jobs away from y'all. Ralph Lauren and Dolce & Gabbana has ads right now with people voguing, and none of y'all bitches from the United States are in it.
You are cisgender.
Yes.
So tell.
Child, before we get back into this cisgender, honey, even a broken clock is right twice a day, honey. Shannon was right that time, honey. Child, baby, what did Shannon say?
Vogue, and none of y'all.
Shannon said that y'all are teaching these children how to vogue. And they are taking your opportunity. Shannon said that y'all having these Vogue classes for $20, $25 a pop. And all these Caucasian adjacents, honey, is taking notes and giving y'all $20, $25. And then they using that to go and make $20,000, $25,000. Voguing for some people who won't pick you because you black.
Y'all bitches from the United States are in it.
You are cisgender.
Yes.
So so tell me about how you got involved in ballroom. I mean, which I know it's not a foreign thing for cisgender women to be involved, but I'm curious to know your story.
So when I went to prison, I met my mother in prison. She was a part of ballroom, and one of the famed.
Your mother,
legend, the iconic House of Khan.
Your mother in the House of Khan. Was this a butch queen mother, a femme queen mother that you met in jail? Shannon. But then again, Shannon I don't know how long, Shannon has had a vagina. If she is trans, maybe they did house her in a female facility.
The part of ballroom. And one of the famed legend, the iconic House of Khan. And so she saw me and she was like, you gotta come back up to DC and go to a ball. Because I never knew nothing about balls, never seen Paris, I never knew anything, all of that. 2005 rolled around and I went to my first ball and I got hooked. I was like, I need to be a part of this.
Do the people give you a hard time because you're cisgender in ballroom?
They did. You saw they gave me a hard time on the show.
Yeah. Now I'm curious to know, how does a cisgender woman navigate a realm that's predominant?
You have good girlfriends.
Honey, Shannon can't tell you how a cisgender woman navigates the ballroom. Because I don't think Shannon is a cisgender woman that has navigated ballroom. I'm not understanding the point. If you want to be stealth, then be stealth. Honey, when you do interviews, tell them don't ask about your gender. You don't announce yourself as cisgender. Child, honey. It's a difference between being a cisgender woman and being a woman. If you're trans, you could be a woman. If you're trans, you can't be cisgender. Child, let me mind my damn business. Honey, do I got it wrong? Have I been confused all these years? Is y'all gonna teach me something new? Thank you, Nazareth. Honey, thank you for the super chat. Nazareth said, I wasn't debating with you, just observing, and I'm not a worker of the night. I do work for the New York City. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your work, Nazareth. And thank you for the super chat, honey. We love to see it. We love to see it, honey. Yeah. Twirling Tech God, it's not you in the building. Not you in the building, Twirling Tech God. Honey, I don't know what you walked in on, Twirling Tech God. Honey, you walked in on Mother Shannon Balenciaga talking about how it is to navigate ballroom as a cisgender woman. Yeah, I know. I know. Isn't that what Monique said on your interview? Vogue classes is the fool. Yes, Oscar. You pay great attention. Vogue classes is the fool. Yes. That's what Monique said. I'm not allowed to have an opinion. I'm just ballroom adjacent. Oscar said, why is she lying like this and falling out laughing? So Oscar is apparently under the same impression that I'm under, that, you know, Shannon ain't cisgender. And again, it's a difference if you want to be stealth, but don't sit here and lie in my mother. Don't sit here and lie in my face after you done volunteered to be a public figure, because nobody asked you to be public. And nobody damn sure ain't asked you to lie about your gender identity. Wasn't Leyna just talking about how she didn't choose to be trans, but she made the best out of it, and look where she at. Shannon, I get the impression that you probably still being watched by the feds. You probably still doing something fraudulent. You talk like it. Wait, so she's trans saying she cis? I'm a little confused. Opal, I think that's what's happening, love. I think that's what's happening, honey, baby, child, honey, and that ain't out in nobody. This ain't out in nobody. When you come out publicly and you just lying, you done set yourself up to be out, girl, honey, because nobody asked you to come out as a cisgender woman either. You know, that was just a motherfucking lie, honey. EJ, you confused too? I think the real problem, I think Shannon is confused. I think Shannon is confused at the definition of cisgender. Somebody has to tell her that a vaginoplasty don't make you cisgender, honey. Jay says she confusing all of us. Yeah, she had a vaginoplasty. That does not make you cisgender. That does not change the fact that she was born male, and that does not change the fact that vagina was converted from a penis. Transformation. Honey. Very ghetto. Very ghetto. John Doe said, realness privilege. Mother is fab, though. She could really sell it. Isn't that the ultimate femme queen? The ultimate femme queen ain't about passing. Not in my opinion. And by ballroom standards, it's not. That's not the case. A lot of the girls who are considered the ultimate femme queen, and femme queen in itself is to be an exaggerated form. That ain't realness. Ballroom realness ain't even real life realness. To keep it 100, honey. Because when they have girls who are truly real, those are the girls they kick out of the scene. If you live realness and passable privilege every day, what do you need the fantasy of being real and passable for? It's your reality. Pay attention. Did I speak on Madison and Coco Bigo? Madison who? T.S. Madison? Break me down, Nazareth. Break me down in the chat while I get on to our next team. While I get on to our next lady. None other than the iconic Niambi E, Prodigy. Yes, honey. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Honey, we will be discussing an ex-offender in this next story. Apparently, Niambi had discussed Katrina Turner being poom poom pow pow shot, you know. I'll let her talk. I'll let her tell the tea, and we'll dig a little deeper.
Katrina Turner, the quote unquote trans person that got shot in the back of the head by, allegedly, because we still don't even know if that's true. Some random person could have shot her, and he pinpointed this guy that has a visible platform online, a public platform online. What the heck would he do? What would be the reasoning behind him just freaking randomly shooting Katrina like that? This person, Katrina Turner, born Donald Turner, is on the sex offender registry. I'm all about trans pride. What you're not going to do is escape your life and try to integrate your life with our community. I talked to the boy that Katrina accused his father. I was actually talking to the guy's father that got arrested and Katrina at the same time, while talking to Katrina in the inbox. And when I matched all the information together, the dad is telling the truth. The issue with Katrina Turner is I found out this morning that Katrina Turner isn't who she says that she is, and is actually a sexual predator in disguise. I have personally apologized to his father, and we had a long, lengthy conversation. He realizes that this is not something to play around with. He would not be out here trying to vilify her and make up false accusations for no reason. Because what I couldn't understand was this person is visible and all over the internet. How he just freaking shoot her for whatever. And is just going to pull out a gun and lose his platform and lose all of the things that he worked so hard for. I had to think. Like, some of this isn't really making sense. But his father, by the time he got finished talking to me, it made sense. Bitch, the main matches, the birth date matches, and this predator actually has multiple groups showcasing children and young adults, mainly adolescents. This is why policing is needed in our community, because we deserve every right to protect us from shit like this. So the thing about it is, Katrina used to date this guy's, the guy that she got locked up, his mother. And when all of the allegations came out about him touching kids, when all of it came out, she left him. He left California, transitioned, moved to Ohio. See, this is what they do. They try to escape their lives or whatever it is that they did, and then try to change their identity and integrate themselves in our community, in a community that I am a part of. This will not go on. These bastards do not get to sneak their way in our community and wear our identity. And a lot of you cis straight folks out there need to know the difference between a predator and what is gay and trans, because they are two totally different things. Because what you need to be doing is checking your freaking uncles. It's already out. Some young trans person got locked up in a female juvenile facility and was found to be raping some of the girls. Exactly. Because a lot of these motherfuckers use our identity as a fetish. I've said this several times over the last 5 years. This is why I cannot respect transitions like Caitlyn Jenner and this motherfucker over here from California. If I love something and I'm obsessed with it, I can become it. He has a group called Young Navy SEALs. I can't see it because I blocked this child. I blocked him. Young Navy SEALs. Search it on Facebook. It's disturbing. He has a fixation on this little trans girl that he calls his daughter, named Ravina, at 64 fucking years old. I don't care how much you try to escape it. If you are a sexual predator, you will always be that. Because you made the conscious decision to do that. And to take away that child's childhood like that. And now you have proof. I'm like, oh, okay, well, he could have just, like, made that, I'm still being skeptical at this point. There's the information, and then there's the birthday. Where does everybody celebrate their birthday? On Facebook. So then I see getting ready to celebrate my birthday with the exact same birthday. Have you always lived in Ohio? California. This is where it gets juicy. Donald, Katrina, and my mother used to date in the 90s. They split when she heard this as a rumor, and he would never tell her what happened. Actually, I was hoping we could sit on this information until the authorities are involved, because there are some families who are currently accusing Donald Katrina Turner of molesting their children, and some adults who have alleged the same thing happened to them as minors while he was their drill instructor. And now this child got all types of freaking groups on Facebook, and all you see is freaking children, adolescents, teenagers, preteens. Now you're gonna tell me that I'm imagining this? But to have a whole entire community rile behind you, and you're escaping what you did, and try to integrate yourself into our community, not on this Trans Pride Month, you won't.
Niambi said, not this Trans Pride Month, you won't, Nathaniel, or, what's the child's name? Donald, Katrina, said, not on this Trans Month. So, Niambi is convinced that Katrina is masquerading, or has been masquerading as a trans woman in order to escape persecution from being known as an ex-offender. Katrina has attempted to change her identity so that it'll be harder for her to be found or harder for her to be tracked down as Donald Turner. It's very possible. It's been done before. I had personally even counseled a trans woman who had did jail time for kitty diddling. And she was genuinely a trans woman. Very, very much that. And I know a few trans women that have been accused of interacting with minors, have been charged with have done jail time for interacting with minors. I've had some admitted. So it is a possibility that Katrina is genuinely trans and a predator. It is a possibility. It's looking a lot like this Katrina is Donald. But we still have to keep an objective ear. We're still going to keep an objective eye here. Because Niambi did admit in this post as well that she is a survivor of being touched as a child herself. You know, PTSD is real, and sometimes it can skew our perspective of things. So my question is Katrina really trans? And did this guy really shoot her? Let's do a little digging. Well, we didn't have to dig far. Katrina is Donald. Katrina seems to be registered, or else she has a lot in common with Donald Turner, who is registered. It ain't looking good. Ain't looking good, honey. And Katrina do like to be around people, children, honey. She had even did a drill team with a bunch of kids in Ohio, honey. Look at Katrina. This is Katrina performing. This was before she got shot, honey. She was doing Tina Turner hair. Proud Mary, honey. Just wait until Katrina gets into it. Oh, Katrina got on her dress, honey. What is that? She got on her tank dress, honey. Yeah, fishnet. Go ahead, Katrina, honey. Yeah. Ooh, not the real hair. Katrina got her real hair out for y'all, honey. Act like you know. Act like you know. Act like you know. Don't Katrina look like she belonged to somebody's church? This has been Katrina since the shooting. This has been, yeah. This is Katrina since the pow, honey. Yeah, Katrina bowling, and still bowling strikes, honey. Katrina said that she is a pro bowler, honey. Yes, honey. You better know it. You better know. What have we gotten into? Let's get into the case, honey. DeVale Heath is the black man on your left, on your far left. The black man. He is the one accused of powing Katrina, honey. Child. DeVale Heath, 28. Received a sentence from the judge, honey. DeVale has been convicted of shooting Katrina in front of her home. The prosecutors were pushing for the maximum sentence, which is 14 to 16 years. But because this is DeVale's first offense ever, he only got 13 years with no bail and no bond. Don't that sound about right for a black man? All right, this is Katrina testified that DeVale walked up on her outside of her home at 10:30 at night. They had a casual conversation. And it wasn't long after they started talking that she fell down, and she wasn't aware that she had been pow. You know, she wasn't aware that she had got a headshot. She says, I did not hear no gunshots or anything. I just remember falling toward the ground and hitting the ground. She said that he stood there for a minute and then he left in a hurry. The shot damaged her skull, but she was able to get back to the house. She was able to get back in the house from where she had collapsed. When the officer got there, she said that she tried to communicate and tell him who it was, but she couldn't speak and she couldn't hear what he was saying. I just used my hand for something to write with. I wrote DeVale Heath and I wrote down Barbara Heath, 33 North Truesdale, and I wrote down her phone number. Lord. In case I died, they would have known where to look, Katrina says. Child. She said she thought she was going to die. Honey, she said she thought it was curtains for her. Honey, a short time later, she was cross-examined. And they asked her, why did she provide Barbara's address? And Katrina said, because that was the number I could think of because I don't know any other family phone numbers. Barbara Heath lived about 10 houses away from Katrina. So her ex lived about 10 houses away from her. Child. And her ex is DeVale's grandmother, not his mother. DeVale says that he remembered Katrina dating his grandmother before she transitioned, when she was still Donald. Lord. Do we have any more details? Okay. Several people testified on DeVale's behalf, including people from out of the country. DeVale is also a PhD candidate. He was working on his law-related PhD. He already has a master's. He was working in England on his PhD. He had been studying here and abroad. He testified that he was in Youngstown. He testified that he was in Katrina City for a couple of days during the time of the shooting. He said that he was there for a birthday party, and to see his family because he hadn't been in the area since 2019. He said DeVale testified that his thesis is on male victims of sexual assault by women. He works for Survivors UK, a nonprofit organization in England that works with non-binary, trans people, and men who have been sexually assaulted. His job is to help individuals through the legal process along with other things. To be fair, it is quite common for people to go into outreach work, community work, social services if they are themselves a survivor. I mean, he literally works for something called Survivors UK. So the idea that DeVale has been touched is quite possible. With us knowing that Katrina is an offender, it's possible that he could have been assaulted and touched by Katrina when he was young. He said that they went on to question him. He said that he had New Turner was the director of a drill team for kids. Could this have been possible that could it be possible that DeVale snapped? That DeVale heard about Katrina working with these kids and he wanted to not only get justice for himself, but he wanted to stop her from being able to hurt any other children. It's possible. It's possible. Not saying it's the case, but it's possible. They also discussed, while he was on the stand, he took the stand. A lot of defendants don't take the stand, especially in attempted murder trials when they're being charged with attempted murder. But they found a photo. The prosecution found a photo on Facebook that showed the handle of a pistol sticking out of DeVale's back pocket while he was in Youngstown, during the time when Katrina got shot. Child, honey. DeVale testified that that the object was a child's BB gun. Long story short, they charged DeVale. Long story not so short, a lot of people believe in that it's a wrongful conviction. And DeVale has people out here fighting for him being wrongfully convicted. Let's take a look at DeVale's IG. At the top of his IG, we see Katrina. It's a picture of Katrina, and the writing says, on January 31st, 2024, DeVale Heath Jr. was wrongfully convicted of attempted murder. DeVell maintains his innocence. The incident, which took place in Youngstown, Ohio on March 21st, 2022, pertains to a trans woman, Katrina Turner, aka Donald Turner, who accused DeVell of shooting them. In spite of the claims, DeVell has 4 solid alibis. He spent the entire evening with his family at Westside Bowling until 9:30 p.m., then returned to his family's home for the night. March 21st is also DeVell Jr.'s birthday. So that's the birthday party he was attending, his own. All 4 individuals testified to his whereabouts. There was no physical evidence presented during the trial, such as a gun, bullet casings, fingerprints, witnesses, or DNA to support the accuser's claims. Detectives admitted to not having any physical evidence, nor did the detectives did not look for any other suspects. Despite many discrepancies and the absence of concrete evidence, DeVell Heath Jr. has been denied bond and is currently awaiting sentencing. Those who know DeVell Jr. know him as a loving friend, LGBTQ plus advocate, inspiring, free-spirited, safe space, and more. DeVell Heath Jr. is a PhD student with no criminal record whatsoever, has a master's degree from Morehouse and a bachelor's degree from University of Louisville. DeVell deserves justice. Please help us spread the awareness to rectify this injustice. Please reach out to DeVell Heath Sr. directly. So DeVell Heath Sr. is who Niambi had been talking to regarding the case. Here's a picture of DeVell graduating with that same message. And then they have a GoFundMe for DeVell to fight his case. Now, I don't know if DeVell is guilty or innocent, but based on everything that I've read and seen and researched, they didn't have enough evidence to convict him. You don't have a gun. You don't have any physical evidence. You don't have a fingerprint. You don't have DNA. And this person has 4 alibis. Yes, these 4 alibis might be family members, but it's still their word over Katrina's. I feel like he shouldn't be convicted based on the evidence alone. Did he shoot Katrina? Possibly. Did they have enough evidence to convict him? No. I ain't got a dog. I ain't got a dog in this fight. Honey, child, I just wanted to bring y'all the story because, honey, if I had to see it, I had to share it with y'all, honey. Jesus is weeping. Child, honey. John Doe says, then what's the point of transitioning to sell it like realness? No shade. Let's have a discussion. Is this heteronormativity jail? The goal and the point of transitioning is to live in your truth. I can only speak for myself as a trans person and the other trans people who I've had conversation with. And me and all the other trans people I know, the transition was natural. Me, for example, my presentation over time just became more and more feminine. I'd always been feminine innately. I'd always had feminine energy. I always exuded femininity. As I told y'all before, even in boy clothes, people thought that I was female, thought that I was born female. And for me, transitioning, it was really just a legal process. Like the physical transition happened naturally. I started dressing more and more feminine over time, grew my hair out, became more and more comfortable being feminine, became more and more comfortable presenting in that way. Over time, people were no longer mistaking me for a boy. I was no longer being seen in society as a man. I was no longer being treated in society as a male. I started to live a woman's experience because I'm seen in the world as a woman. So it only made sense for me to change everything legally. That's how my transition worked. I never felt like I was born in the wrong body or anything like that. I've never wanted to imitate a woman or be like one or be a woman. I was just being myself, and I enjoy wearing clothes that came out of the women's section. You know, I enjoy wearing heels. I enjoy having hair. I feel most comfortable in my skin being feminine. Being who y'all see. I mean, y'all see me at my most masculine. I don't even get done up for y'all no more, honey. We got to get the numbers up before I start getting done to talk to this screen. But that's a whole nother conversation. Cause that take work, time, and money, honey. And I'm not trying to spend more money on hair and makeup and clothes than I'm making. So we got to get these numbers up, honey. Yeah, baby. But for me it was just natural. This is just who I am. And to avoid job discrimination, housing discrimination, to maintain my own safety, I transitioned everything legally. And with the world seeing me as a woman, with me being treated as a woman, not only is it unsafe, not only would it be unsafe for me to still allow people to use he, him pronouns, it just no longer felt like me based on my experience. And it still doesn't feel like me based on my experience. There are people who misgender me all the time, and there are people who think that us trans people are delusional and all of these things, honey. I honestly feel like I just had to jump through a whole bunch of hoops in order to be me and walk through the world and walk through society without being beat and bashed. But realistically, not everybody is me. Not everybody is going to be passable. Some people just are never going to pass. Their genes aren't set up for that. You know, no matter how much plastic surgery they get, they're going to look like a trans person with a lot of plastic surgery. You know, no matter how they dress, makeup or no makeup, how long or short their hair is, a lot of trans people just ain't going to pass. So it is unhealthy and it's unrealistic for us to have this goal as realness and transitioning. The goal, the only real goal, is being comfortable in your existence, being comfortable in your life, being comfortable in the way that you move through the world. Don't put heteronormative standards on trans people. I think that's one of the huge issues that trans people tend to have with their own internalized transphobia. I think a lot of us experience gender dysphoria and body dysmorphia because we're trying to live up to other people's standards. We're trying to transition how other people think we should or people feel we should. And in most cases, those people ain't even trans. How the hell you gonna tell me how to live a life that you don't live? How the hell you gonna tell me how to be me? I'm me. Not you. And your opinion really don't matter. But in reality, people don't know how to keep their hands to themselves. And we live in a country where people walk around with pistols like it's water bottles. Yeah, I hope I answered your question. I hope I didn't go off too far. Too long. When TS was clocking them, when TS was saying Bigo, that was her and somebody named Coco going back and forth when TS Madison was talking about Bigo. Honey. Child, honey. Them the Bigo girls be mad at the reputation that they have, but they continue doing things to perpetuate the reputation that they have. Y'all know I was just on Bigo yesterday. What's today? Thursday? I was just on Bigo Tuesday. I was just on Bigo this time 2 days ago. It didn't go well. But I'll share that with y'all. We'll discuss, honey. John Doe said SA is a serious issue. It's very serious. It is very serious. I am a survivor of actual assault and molestation. Yes, I was molested by another child. I was molested by a female child. I know that there's this rumor that us trans people and that gay people convert or transition because of being touched as children and things like that. I was never touched by a man until I consented as an adult to be touched by a man. My first experience being molested, my first experience with non-consensual sex, I was already attracted to boys. By that time, I was already attracted to boys. That didn't change me. That didn't convert me. It caused me to have some issues regarding sex. It's a possibility that I'm pansexual because I had early sexual experiences with vagina. It is that is quite possible. I don't know, and honestly, I really don't care at this point. I've worked through a lot of that, and I've worked past a lot of that, and I'm continuing to work on myself. Yeah. Jay says, unfortunately, pedos have been trying to lump themselves in with us for years. They even tried to incorporate an inclusive flag. Pedophilia is not a sexuality. No. No. Honey, no shade. If they ever try and lump kitty diddlers in with the LGBTQ pluses, I will go to Pride just to knock people off. I stay at the range. I'm a good aim, honey. Yeah. 13 years. 13 years for that man allegedly shooting her. 13 years and they don't even have any physical evidence. They don't even have the weapon. Now, Katrina, since being shot, Katrina is now legally disabled. Is it possible that DeVelle was never really there? Is it possible that she don't recall what happens? She don't recall what happened? Is it possible that she know that she fondled DeVelle as a child and expecting him to want revenge? You know, what was that short conversation about, Katrina? You said that y'all had a casual conversation in the yard before you got popped. What was that what was that about? Hey, Miss Neal. Hey, Miss Neal. I appreciate that you was here. Miss Neal said folks also have to understand that everyone's transness is not the same. It ain't. Everybody's transness is different. That's why I made it clear. This is me and my transness. I know a lot of trans people who that for a lot of us it's a spectrum of gender dysphoria. You know, that's how you have your non-binary people. You know, that's how you have your masculine women and your feminine men and your drag queens, and then you have trans men and trans women. You know, because no two people's gender identity is very likely going to be the same. Even trans people, most trans people don't feel the same about their gender identity. You know, we just talked about Shannon earlier, going around saying that she's cisgender. Clearly, it's something psychologically wrong going on over there. I don't experience that psychosis personally. Honey, I'm very comfortable with the fact that I was assigned male at birth. I'm very comfortable with the fact that biologically I am male. And I'm very comfortable with being perceived in the world as a woman. That's it. That's all. It's really not as complicated as people like to make it. Hey, Mr. Smith. Honey, I'm glad to see you here. Honey, I'm glad to see you here. Miss Neal said, I truly love how open you are. I also love how you explain and let folks know that transness comes in many different colors, looks, and styles. I also wish that as the trans community, we understood that. My trans experience is not the same as others. Baby, honey, Well, to be honest, I was in denial for a long time about being trans because the other trans girls that I knew, they wanted bottom surgery. And a lot of them only dated and was only attracted to cisgender men. And only attracted to masculine cisgender men. I've always been attracted to femininity. I've always been open to having a partner with a vagina. I've always been comfortable having a penis. I never had any interest in bottom surgery. Still have no interest in bottom surgery. The only way I would get any type of bottom surgery is if it's for health reasons, like let's say, God forbid, I had to have testicles removed or something like that for health reasons. Other than that, honey, leave my original plumbing intact. Honey, I'm very comfortable with that, baby. I'm not trying to be a woman. It's just that me naturally being me, the world sees a woman, so I'm going to play the game to be discriminated against as least as possible and to be popped as least as possible and to avoid ending up in the gutter like a lot of my black trans sisters do. You know, I don't want to have to do X work because nobody will hire me because my ID doesn't match what they see. You know. But we didn't already said that, honey. Hey, handsome Mr. Smith, honey. Mr. Smith, is you still got that family? You still not single, Mr. Smith? We gotta discuss it. You know I'm going to ask you all the time. Mr. Smith might be straight, honey. Who knows? Jesus. Yes, Miss Nell, love you down. Yes. You love your she meat? No shade, I love my she-ness. I don't know if that's she meat, Miss Neal, so excuse me if I'm trying it. And some of these other trans women can be so mean/cold to the new girls coming out. It is called a transition for a reason. Shit takes time. They be so mean and so cruel, and they talk about these girls being knots and bricks and hard and all that, and then in the same breath, they talk about them being microwaved and all that. Child, if you ask me, I think it's just typical women competing with other women. And yes, that just proves that trans women are a version of woman, whether you want to accept it or not, honey, because trans women do that shit. I've much more commonly in the trans man community see them snatching each other up and protecting each other and teaching each other. Oh, we done been on here almost 2 hours. I ain't fooling with y'all. Let me run through these upcoming balls and events before we get up out of here. The Resource Palooza Ball 2024, honey, is at the King Community Center in Chicago. Baby, May 16th, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's free entrance to the function if you participate in the resources. So if you participate in the resources, if you participate in the education that they provide, and you will get into the ball for free. I haven't seen anything about categories. There is no, they have no page that I've been able to find that's dedicated to this event. So I'm assuming that if you did want to walk, it's just bring it. Feel free to contact Cook County Health. Feel free to contact anybody else that you may be aware of who's involved in this function and this organization. It will be food, will be housing, HIV testing, discussing after school programs, all those things. I think that this would be the perfect function for somebody who's looking to get into ballroom. 9 out of 10 times, if you're a young person or if you're a trans or queer person and you're interested in ballroom, you're looking for a family, I think that this is the type of event that you want to be at. 9 out of 10 times, there's going to be a lot of ballroom people who work in outreach who is going to be at this type of function. Again, that's going to be at the King Community Center in Chicago, honey, South Side. We got the Midwest 3rd annual Kiki Awards Ball, honey, over $3,000 in cash prizes. Honey, that's also May 3rd in Chicago. Honey, yeah, shout out to the Midwest. They doing it up, ain't they? They doing it up, honey. Details for that ball is in the description of this link. Details for that ball is in the description of this video. Feel free to click that link if you want to know more, if you're interested in attending or interested in walking the Midwest Kiki Awards Ball. T-Boy 007 presents the Voodoo Ball Volume 2. Remember I told y'all I was just on Bigo Live. I was just on Kelly's Live. I went on there to talk to T-Boy. Long story short, I ended up cussing out T-Boy. I match people's energy. You're not going to give me no whole bunch of dark, negative, bad energy and think that I'm just going to suck it in and swallow it in because I have a couple of degrees in publishing. Nope. You want to be hood and ratchet? I'm going to show you how to be hood and ratchet and smart all at the same time. And that's exactly what I did to T-Boy ugly ass. But his ball, the Voodoo Ball, is Saturday, July 27th. You know, we know what happened with T-Boy and the Prodigy Ball, honey. We'll discuss it later. It's going to be in Miami. Doors open at 6 p.m. If you want more information on the Voodoo Ball, click the link in the description on as, honey. Yes, honey. Shout out to T-Boy, honey. T-Boy, I'm going to show them people how you hopped in my DMs and act like you want to have a civilized conversation, and then soon as I hopped on Kelly's Live, you called me a monkey and told me to go climb some trees. Now, keep in mind that T-Boy is about as black as the sole of my shoe, and his parents are Haitian immigrants. But I went on Kelly's Live and he called me a monkey. I keep telling y'all be good kids, be perpetuating your own reputations. Y'all ballroom girls be perpetuating your own reputations. And then y'all get mad at me when I call them out. I still don't understand how somebody can get mad at me for repeating exactly what they said and showing receipts that's what they said. But you know, some people are slow. Yes, I wouldn't have a job if slow people didn't exist. Shout out to all the slow people, including T-Boy. How y'all doing? Ooh! Mr. Smith said that he is very much single. He has a daughter, but he is not heterosexual. Mr. Smith, I've been told that I could be a great stepmother. I've been told that I could. Actually, I've been a good stepmother before, honey. You know, technically, he wasn't my boyfriend's child. He was my ex-boyfriend's brother. But still, nonetheless, honey, Mr. Smith said he is not heterosexual. Mr. Smith, you should DM me. Do we follow each other? Honey, all of my information is in the descriptions. Mr. Smith, let's talk about it. Let's discuss it privately. Everybody don't need to be in my business. Mr. Smith said that he is as black as the street. Child, honey, he's only as black as the street if the street is paved in asphalt. Mr. Smith, honey. And to be honest, you know, I was reading him for being dark skinned because he called me a monkey. You know, I return energy. If you come to me with anti-blackness, I promise I can be a better anti-black than you. But in reality, honey, I think that's his only beautiful feature. I think that's the only thing cute about T-Boy is his skin complexion, honey. It's nothing to me more beautiful than dark, heavily melanated skin. Ugh. I'd be so jealous of people darker than me sometimes, honey. Ciao. Ooh. Ooh. Well, Mr. Smith, if she in Baltimore, where you at? What do I need to say allegedly for Oscar? What did I say? Remind me so I can say allegedly before I get off this live. What did I say that I need to add allegedly to? Hold on. I know it ain't T-Boy being slow. Because, honey, T-Boy confessed on live. I recorded it, added to a video, and said that he confessed on live. And then he got mad at me for saying that he confessed on live when we all seen the video of him confessing on live. Man did step in. I'll show y'all. His attitude sucks, though. Clearly it sucks. Clearly it sucks, honey. I don't know who's worse, him or Lawrence Tishi. Child. But, baby, I need to take... It is 5 p.m. Child, I ain't going to tell y'all when the last time I slept. Mr. Smith, hit me up in the DM. I love all of you who live in your truth, including you, Mr. Smith. Ooh! Mr. Smith is the next city over. Hit me up. I love you all for living in your truth. I love all of you for simply being yourself. Thank you for supporting your girl. Share this video with somebody who likes ballroom tea. Share this video with somebody who's enamored by femme queens. Share this video with somebody who you think might need to hear a sermon. Somebody who you think I was reading. Baby. Yeah. But peace, love, and blessings to you and yours until we speak again, y'all. I celebrate